Kawasaki KD80, just kick it. Kawasaki KM100, just kick it. Kawasaki KE100, just kick it. Welcome to the Kevin Bergeron YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kevin. If you like working on vintage two-strokes and how-to videos, I'm your guy. So welcome. And if you guys could do me one other favor, is hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so when I post a video, you don't miss out. I'll talk to you guys later. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here coming at you with another video. It's a trunk. What do I have lurking in the trunk? Look at that. A 100. This is a Suzuki 100 that I know absolutely nothing about. I don't know if it's condition. I don't know if anything going on with it. I don't know anything about it. So this right here I got from Marketplace, and I got it for dirt cheap. So let's take a look and see what I got, shall we? All right, got the table set up. Oh, right here, 1977. Can you guys see that? No, probably not. There we go. 1977 to 81 Suzuki DS100, DS100, TS125, DS125. Engines from a 79 DS100. Okay, so that's what it's from. Well, supposedly. Ooh. Oh my God, it's heavy. I'm stuck. Okay. All right. There's all kinds of junk. Blocks, some screws. Oh. Aha! Got the oil cover, that's a plus. Alright, looks like that's it. Alright, so that's what we got. That's our gloves, get these out of here. Alright, so now we can look at see what we got. What are we looking at for this thing? So 79 to 81, that was the cusp of CDI and points. So let's take a peek. Oh, and crank is seized, and it has points ignition. You can see the points in there. Does have the oiler still hooked up, oil line running, so that's a good sign. And so I like it. No broken fins. It's got a nice kickstart on it. Turn over. Nope. Okay. Engine is locked up. I cannot. Here's the crank. Can't spin it. Let's just take a peek. Let's get that head ripped off and take a look inside this thing to see if it's a good usable engine. Now, I have a bunch of these. I got some from Todd. I had a couple that came with that red bike that I had picked up. But it's always good to have extra parts, and if I can use this as a donor to make a good one, then so let's see if we can get this thing unseized. Let's get the head ripped off and take a peek at it. See what happened. Did it fold a ring? What's going on? Alright, so one of the things I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to look in the exhaust port, see if the cylinder's all scored out. So I can't see anything in there because the piston is down. So that doesn't help me much. All right, now let's take the top of the piston, the cylinder off. Cylinder head, I should say. 4 bolts on the top, and if it's got a bunch of debris, you kind of want to blow that all out. All right, it's gonna be loud for a second because I'm gonna use my air gun and blow this out. Okay, good. Get that all blown out. Now, take these off. Let's get These all zapped off. 4 bolts. Take them off in the crisscross pattern. This one's the whole stud came out with that one. Okay. Good. Oh, don't look bad. Don't look terrible. Doesn't look burnt up. You notice the spark plug has some nice oil foul to it. It's not gray. If you see gray on a plug, that's a bad sign. That means it's burnt up. Okay. Look inside there at the cylinder. And it's not looking terrible. Really can't complain about that. So wonder what happened. Wonder why it's stuck. So what we're going to do, we're going to put some 2-stroke oil around there, and then we're going to try rotating the crank. See if we can get it to move. Alright, since I don't have any 2-stroke here, we're going to make some. I got a little bit of gas that I used on that that last video for that Honda XR80, and we're going to use some old Mobil 1 I have kicking around that I use for lubricating drill bits. So let's pour a little bit of that. Don't need a super lot, just enough to lubricate. So back in the old days, back in the early 70s and the 60s and 70s, they actually used to use not 10W30 but 30 weight motor oil, and they used to mix it with gas, and that was their 2-stroke. So see right there, now it's got 2-stroke right there. And now I'll tip this up. There we go. Just want to lubricate it, because if it does start to go, you want it to go into something wet, you know. It doesn't feel bad. There's no scoring on the cylinder. The cylinder actually feels really nice and healthy. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a socket over here. We're going to put a socket on the crankshaft, which is right here on the magneto, and we're going to try to rotate it. Now, a couple things you never want to do on these is you never want to use an impact to try to free up an engine. Alright, so you would never use an impact like this Milwaukee. And you don't want to use a breaker bar. Not a breaker bar. I'm going to use a breaker bar. But you don't want to use a bar on top of this and crazy leverage, because you'll snap that crank off. So kind of go easy with it, you know. See if we can get to go back and forth. Okay. That's moving. Alright, yeah, get to move like that far. Oh, could we get this thing to rotate? Does it cease from sitting? I'm gonna move it down a little bit more, and I'm gonna give it a nice little blast of this concoction I just made. A little bit more, just to get it to go. Just do a little bit in the intake. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right here. Just did that with the Kickstarter, guys. Alright, now we right here so you can see the piston. I'm going to try to use the Kickstarter. There we go. Good. We now have a rotating engine. Guys, that cylinder bore looks good in there. was just see some sitting. Alright. Now, guess what we're going to do? I'm going to teach you guys something cool. You guys want to do something cool? So, here's what we're going to do. I have 2 wires right here. Okay. And you see this black wire? All the Japanese bikes, the Kawasaki's, the Yamahas, the Suzuki's, they all use this black wire for the ignition. Honda does too. Okay. This wire right here is for your charge for your headlight, your battery, or you're going up to your regulator. But this wire right here particularly, okay, this wire goes up to your ignition coil. Inside here is a set of points and condenser. So if this bike has spark, this little guy right here will have a spark right to the case. So first we're going to clean up a spot right there, and we're going to see if this thing has spark. All right. Let's try that. I'll hold it right next to it. I gotta find a way to hold this down for a second. I'm gonna have to go grab an assistant. All right, Michael, hold the cylinder. I'm gonna check and see. I'm gonna take this wire right here. I'm gonna hold it really close to the case right here and see if it has spark. Oh, you hold down. Oh, you see that spark? Watch this, guys. I just got spark. Watch this. You're gonna love this. This is super cool. All right, so I'm gonna put it right here. Watch this. See if I can do that again. The points and ignition work good. Watch this. Right here. See that? All right, so now I know that the points, I'm gonna do it one more time. The points and condenser are working good. Pretty cool, huh? Now you're probably saying to yourself, Michael, I'm all set, thank you. So you're probably asking yourself, how the heck is it getting spark down there without an ignition coil? Let me explain that to you, what's happening. As this flywheel, this magneto, this is literally like a magneto like you'd have in a dragster. Okay? This right here produces the electricity and ignition to power the coil. Okay, on a dragster they don't have ignition coils. And you're probably saying, yeah, I never seen an ignition coil on a dragster. If you look at a V8 dragster, like the magnetos, it only has eight holes for the spark plug wires. That's it, because it's all done internally. This right here produces the electricity, and then it fills up inside the condenser. So I just grabbed another magneto. This is not for this bike, but it's the same thing. This right here is a condenser, okay? And this right here, as the magnet passes, one of the charges, so 2 of these are for the light, and 1 of these is for the ignition. So as the magnetic passes, like a car alternator, it creates the voltage. The voltage is then stored inside the capacitor. So it's kind of like a battery, but instead of holding the voltage, instead of making voltage, it takes in voltage and then opens when there's a collapse. So when this is open like this, okay, this is charging. When that closes, it causes a collapse, and then you see another spark. It's not the way you think it. A lot of people are like, oh, when it opens, it sparks. It's actually when it closes. But this right here is the capacitor. This takes in voltage and then not multiplies, but it releases it all at once. When it releases it all at once, then you see the spark on the end. So that right there, that little trick is telling me that the points and condenser are working perfectly fine. You can do this on any bike, any motorcycle that has a points ignition. Okay, all you got to do is support the motor, or if it's on the bike, hold the wire right up against it, just lightly, and then kick it over, and you'll see it arc right out of here. And notice how I'm touching it, and I can't get zapped because it's already been discharged. these capacitors have the power to knock you on your butt. Okay, if this thing was hot and I touched it, it would zap me. Funny thing is capacitors are used in electronics to literally keep a smooth voltage current. Like it's how would I put it? It dampens the system. Okay, in this case, it releases it. I'm trying to get across what I'm trying to say, and I'm not doing it correctly. Let me try this again. It holds the voltage created by the magneto. When the points open, when the points close, it causes a collapse, and then releases the voltage all at once. That voltage is sent up to this wire, okay, which energizes the primary circuit in the coil, the ignition coil, then jumps to the secondary side, and that creates your high voltage, and that's what gives you your spark. So that's how that all works. But now I know that this magneto is good to go. So with the oiler feels good. Everything looks good on this motor. They did a good job pulling it off. This ear right here is very common to break. This right here is for the oil the oil port. It's missing the engine cover on this side, but that's not a big deal. I got this engine for 80 bucks. It was a good deal, especially not knowing anything about it. Like condition wise, here's the clutch cable. That's junk, but that's okay. So it needs a clutch cable, and if I look on the side, see how small that piston looks. When I look on the side over here, it tells me that it's 99 cc's right there, so that's 100. And now that the piston can go up, I'm going to take a peek inside the exhaust port, and that's going to tell me the condition of the piston. Let me go grab a flashlight and we'll take a peek at it. Okay, so looking in the exhaust port and the intake port. When you look in the intake port, I'm looking to see if there's any scoring on that side. It is dirty in there, probably from being seized. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll show it to you. But it doesn't look bad. Sorry about the lighting, guys. Now I can't really show it to you. Oh, right there, see that? Doesn't look all that bad. It's just dirty from sitting, but it's not all scored up. Alright, and you can actually see the oil injector hole. See the port right there on the side? That's this right here, protruding through for the automatic oiler. Okay, now we're going to check the exhaust side and see how that looks. Okay. Now once again, it's really dirty. See that? There's no scoring on that. It's nice and clean. It's just dirty. You can see I put my son's face on the flashlight. I call it the Andrew flashlight. He's like, Dad, knock it off. I'm like, nah. I'm using the Andrew flashlight. So there's my son, guys. So yep, looks pretty good. And we can also rotate it down a little bit more and check the rings. And yeah, this thing is not bad. Not bad at all. The rings look nice and gray. I don't see any scoring. So yeah, we're good. We're good. This is a good motor. So that right there was a great score. I'm very happy with that for Suzuki DS100. And we're able to unseize it in no time. Does need to be cleaned up, but we will do that at a different time. It's one of those things where I just can't pass it up. Just look at the head gasket on it. So I'm gonna throw that back together real quick. I'm not gonna torque them down. I'm just gonna set them on there. Put them on there like this. Oh, this goes on that one. Like so. That goes on that hole right there. And I'll zap these on. Like I said, I'm not torquing anything. I'm just putting them on what I got. I'm going to put this in my stash of motors. The cool thing about this, it's got a nice kickstart on it, a nice shifter on it, all stuff I need for my DS100. So these parts are gonna go to that beautifully. I'm not impacting them. I'm just setting them on there so they're all the way down. So they just touch. And then I'll come over here to this cover. So I don't want to lose the cover. It's in excellent shape, not dented or nothing. And that goes right up there. So there's the one screw that I had in the box with it. Right in here. Let me go grab a screwdriver. Just gonna set these screws in. There was a spring here. Doesn't look like it goes to this, but for now I'll throw it on the spark plug hole and leave it up there in case it does. And then this piece of scrap metal right here can go in the trash. All right, cool. There we go. All right, guys. Well, that's what I have for you. So I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for thumbs up and all your support. So thank you for hanging out. We got a good motor here. This is the only thing left to do to do this correctly would be to torque the cylinder head, which we'll do a compression test and see what it does, and clean it out inside there. I'll show you guys how to do that on another date. But yeah, I can turn it over right by hand now. Oh, it's got compression. Just want to try this real quick. Yep, it's got compression. So, and the head's not even fully tight. Actually, the head's on backwards. Probably should put that on there correct, huh? We can't put a head on backwards. So let's put the head on correctly. Let's do that real quick. But once again, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for going on these adventures with me, and I look forward to doing more videos like this. There's so much more. I can't wait to hear this thing run. And we might have to do a will it run video on this, because that would be cool, wouldn't it? To fire this up just like it is. How cool would that be? Let's put the head on correctly. Okay, 1 second. The washers. Wash like that. This goes like this on this way. Flips around. Yep, like that. There's already a washer on that one. It actually had compression when I turned it over, even though the head was on backwards, so it must have had enough to seal it. Obviously, I don't know what the compression is, but I do know that I had it when I turned it over, so that's a bonus. I'm gonna have to make a dummy bike to try all these different engines I have. Okay, I just put those on there. See how it turns over now. Oh yeah, that's not compression. Jesus. Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm gonna say that has good compression. It definitely felt like it was all there. All right, anyway. All right, so I'm going to end the video here, guys. Once again, thank you for hanging out with me and on these little adventures. I don't know the gentleman's name I got this thing from, but I just want to say thank you for the... I paid for it. It was an $80 engine, but it was a... I'm going to call it a donation, because it was... For 80 bucks, that's a good motor right there. That's good. So, and I bought it not knowing anything about it, so I didn't know why it was seized. It's nice to rip into it. So once again, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching the videos, and I will talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out.